So as you can see, we are back to having mandatory masking in the sanctuary, or actually in the synagogue, anywhere in the synagogue, because we have gone in New York City to a high rate of community transmission of COVID. So we are back to wearing masks for the safety of everybody. And once there is less COVID around, we'll be able to take them off again. I did test negative today, just if you're interested in that. And now we are getting ready to enter Shabbat. And so perhaps this was a hectic week for you. It was for me. And so I'd like to invite you, whether it was a hectic week or whether it wasn't, to take a deep breath if that is what you like to do, and release any tension that you're feeling in your body. As you exhale, slow yourself down. There's time for everything. And we're going to just take a break from whatever we've been thinking about, whatever's been occupying us.
Rabbi, you're muted.
How long have I been muted?
Oh,
Did you hear anything? Nothing? I went that whole... Okay, let's start again. So we might take a deep breath. We're going to let go of any feelings we might have about being muted when we shouldn't be. It's Shabbat. Everything is okay. Thank you for telling me that I was muted. And now for reals, let's begin on page 127 in the bracketed numbers. And you all couldn't even tell that I was talking, right? Because I have a mask on, so you couldn't see my lips moving. Okay. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope. For Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living. For Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness. For Shabbat peace born of friendship and love, we offer thanks and blessing, O God. Now we turn to our candle blessings on pages 120 and 121. Is there anyone who would like to do the blessings? If you don't have candles where you are and you're on Zoom and you would like to do the blessings, I can light the candles here and you can do the blessings. Does anybody want to do that? Monica, I see, would like to do that. Go ahead, Monica, as these Shabbat candles.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. I can't see if the candles have been lit.
Okay, I'm lighting them right now. And we're ready for the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
Amen. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you.
And we turn now to the Kiddush. Is there somebody who would like to do the Kiddush for us in English? What? Oh, Diane, would you like to unmute and read the Kiddush?
Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who finding favor with us, sanctified us with mitzvot. In love and favor, you made the holy Shabbat our heritage as a reminder of the work of creation. As first among our sacred days, it recalls the exodus from Egypt. You chose us and set us apart from the peoples. In love and favor, you have given us your holy Shabbat as an inheritance. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat. L'chaim.
If you're able, please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'hava uvratzon hinhilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehillah למקראי קודש, זכר יציאת מצרים, כי באנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen.
We turn now to page 138 in the bracketed numbers for Lecha Dodi, the mystical poem that says we should turn to one another and say, "Beloved, come with me to greet the Shabbat bride." So we imagine Shabbat arriving in beauty and splendor and joy. And yes, you can sit down to bring those things to our Shabbat. Page 138.
Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamo v'zocho b'dibor echad, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, ושמו תפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם ניסוחה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בורק קומי אורי, אורי אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך
דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. We continue with the Baruch Hu, page 146, so I invite you to remain standing or to rise if you're able.
Lai 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 la 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 lai lai.
Yai lai lai la lai la lai lai.
Lai 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 la lai la lai 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 lai.
Lai la lai la lai lai lai
Lai
lai.
lai la lai la lai lai.
Ya lai lai la lai la lai lai.
Lai 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 la lai la lai lai lai
Lai lai lai la lai la lai 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 lai.
Baruch Hu et Adonai. HaMevorach, HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. Le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed. La 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 la.
Ya lai lai la lai la lai lai.
La 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 la.
Lai lai la lai la lai lai lai
La
lai.
la 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 la.
Ya lai lai la lai la lai lai.
La 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 la.
Lai lai la lai la lai 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 lai.
Sorry. Threw myself off a little bit there.
On page 149, I invite you to read with me. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Page 150.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha v'ta Amcha v'ta מצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, אותנו לימדת, על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נעשה בחוקיך ונזמור בדברי תורתך ומצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגי יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל.
The Shema is on page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod, Malchuto le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod, Malchuto le'olam va'ed.
You may be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברתם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וכשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
On page 157, I'd like to invite you to read with me. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 158.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora
Tehilot,
Oseh Nora
Tehilot,
Adonai Melech le'olam va'ed. מלכותך רבניך, בוקי היום לפני משה, זילינו ואמרו, זילינו ואמרו, אדוני מלך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא
Tehilot,
עושה נורא
Tehilot,
עושה אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
Page 160.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, פרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
Page 162.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל לא תהיה לעולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל לא תהיה לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. לדורותם ברית עולם, לדורותם ברית עולם.
We've come to the tefillah, the central part of the central set of blessings in our prayer service. It begins on page 164, and I invite you, if you're able, to rise.
Yalai lai 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 Adonai. Yalai lai lai sfatai tiftach. Yalai lai lai ufi yagid. Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Yalai lai 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 Adonai. Yalai lai 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 sfatai tiftach. Yalai lai 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 ufi yagid. Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Yalai lai 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 Adonai. Yalai lai 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 sfatai tiftach. Yalai lai 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 ufi yagid. Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Yalai lai 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 Adonai. Yalai lai 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 sfatai tiftach. Yalai lai 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 ufi yagid. Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך חוזר, משיח מגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעם אדוני, לחייך כל אתה רב להושיע. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
You may be seated. Page 173. You set aside the seventh day for your name, the pinnacle of creation, and you blessed it above all other days, more sacred than all festival times. So it is written in your Torah, the heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day, God had completed the work that had been done, ceasing then on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, and ceased from all the creative work that God had chosen to do. Please join me. Our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Adonai, our God, grant as our heritage your holy Shabbat, that Israel, who sanctifies your name, may rest on it. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 175. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. We've come now to our blessing of gratitude, Modim. And so I'd like to invite you, if you're on Zoom, you could put in the chat something that you're feeling grateful for, or you could unmute and say it out loud. Diane Schenker, what are you grateful for today? You have to unmute. See, now it's your turn.
Okay. I am grateful for loving family and friends that are unbelievably kind to me.
Amen. Freema.
I am grateful to see all these wonderful smiling faces on Zoom and that I had the strength to help a friend that really needed help this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Freema. Patricia.
I just wanted to, first of all, to just wish all those whose birthdays starting from tomorrow, the 21st to the 20th of June. My birthday is on Sunday. I will turn 58 years old,
Happy
and I'm
birthday.
very grateful for
Many
that.
more.
Thank you so much.
Happy birthday, and happy birthday to all of the birthday people coming up. Robin.
Hi. Well, first, of course, I'm always grateful to see everybody, even if it's on Zoom, or especially because it's on Zoom since I'm still upstate. I am very grateful that my daughter has gotten a school for my grandson. He's aging out and going into kindergarten, and he's going to be going into Hazel's daughter's class in September.
Wow.
So I'm very happy and excited that we know, that AJ is going to be in a class with somebody that I really trust and respect.
That's great. Modim anachnu lach, for the smallness of the world. Anne Schwartz is grateful that her son and niece have recovered from COVID. Indeed. Amen to that. Anybody here in the room have something you're feeling grateful for today? Alan?
Somebody who I mention all the time, and they get well, had some surgery a couple of years ago and got a magnificent medical report this week.
Oh, that's wonderful. Alan says that someone he mentions frequently for the Misha Berach, who had surgery a few years ago, had a wonderful medical report this week. And so that's good news. Oscar? Sorry, say it again? Loving kindness.
Here, here.
Thank you. It's sometimes hard to understand people with masks on. So thank you for your patience as well. Loving kindness, indeed. Karen Kramer is grateful for temple services. Anybody else?
I'm grateful that I was with the children today, third graders, and loving kindness, to see that the children are just so beautiful, and it makes you feel good to be with them.
Yeah,
We walked through Prospect Park, the whole school. Walked through the
wonderful.
park today to save the earth. They collected money for organizations. It was a very good day.
Great. Were people on Zoom able to hear that? No? Do you want to say that again a little louder?
Can you hear me if I hold my microphone right to my mouth? Are they shaking their heads yes?
Yes.
Oh, good. Well, today I was with third graders at PS 321, and I'm grateful that your name?
Oscar.
Oscar said loving kindness, and the third graders are loving and kind and beautiful, and we took a walk. The whole school walked through Prospect Park on this glorious day, and the children.
Today?
Today.
Before it rained.
Oh, yeah, in the morning when it was nice. First thing in the morning, we got to school. We all walked for an hour and a half through right around Prospect
That's
Park,
great.
and the kids were just incredible, and it was a very special day
That's lovely.
of nature and children.
Yeah, I'm grateful that my daughter Shoshi has a show going up this weekend that she's performing in off Broadway, which is an original piece that I don't know the name of, but I'm hoping to see it at least once, and it's very exciting. And she hasn't been able to perform on a stage in quite some time, so that's a good thing. Estlin is giving thanks for recent family members who successfully. My battery just ran out.
Uh-oh.
Noni,
Yes.
could you come over here and read that while I change the batteries?
What am I reading?
You're going to read this.
Estlin. Hi, Estlin. Estlin is giving thanks for recent family members who successfully completed their course of studies in this COVID era. She said my niece Lauren and great niece Jasmine graduated from universities with bachelors in, oh my goodness, in chemical engineering and journalism, respectively. Mazel tov. What good news. Modim anachnu lach. Chemical
Deanna?
engineering, that was something that I was thinking about. I just started to sing.
I'm thankful for Bashert and all the marvelous webinars that they refer us, that they are introducing us to. Could you hear me?
Yes,
Okay. Yes, so
and
I am very grateful to Bashert for all the webinars that we are being introduced to.
wonderful,
Yes, there's some astounding ones.
terrific. Modim anachnu lach, and we're just waiting for Rabbi Heidi to find a battery that works. Does anybody else have something that they're grateful for?
And I also have members of the family and friends who are better after I kept giving their names for Misha Berach.
Good.
Thank you.
So can we move on now to Shalom Rav?
Sure.
Yes. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon L'chol HaShalom. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam.
Now that I have put batteries in my mic pack and I am amplified again, now we are going to go silent. We're going to continue with our quiet prayer. If you have a prayer book, there are words on pages 180 and 181. If you can see the screen, there are words on the screen, but we can always use the words that are in our own hearts. We continue quietly.
Iyul ratzon imrefi vehyon libi. Iyul ratzon imrefi vehyon libi lefanecha. Iyul ratzon imrefi vehyon libi. Iyul ratzon imrefi vehyon libi lefanecha. Adonai,
Adonai,
Tzuri, Adonai, Tzuri v'gali. Adonai, Adonai, Tzuri, Tzuri. Adonai, Tzuri v'gali. Go inside your heart, just be. Go inside your heart and see what it wants, what it needs, what it yearns when you breathe. Go inside your heart and see. May the words of my mouth, and the meditations of my heart be kind, be true,
be true.
may they be acceptable to you. Oh, my rock, my rock, and my redeemer.
We turn our thoughts now to those among us and those in our hearts who are ill and who are in need of healing of body, of mind, or of spirit. You can find the Mishaberach on page 371. If you're on Zoom and you would like to add names of people for whom you are praying for healing in the chat, you can do that, and everyone will have an opportunity to add names out loud. We hold in our thoughts and in our hearts for healing Jesse Sakharov, Dan Sacker, Ira Weiss, Elaine Drucker, and our prayers for Elaine are for a safe and peaceful passage to the next world. Allison Plummer, Rabbi Dara Lerner, Susan Sisler, Joellen Fox, Alan Fremer, Valerie Pace, George Landberg, Susan Bilecki, Dana Haitkin Nelson, Arlene Rosenthal, Michael Luck, Barbara Weiner, Joan Lifshitz, Elizabeth Lee, Amy Juskowitz Soonseller, Deanna Roth, Jonathan Falkowski, Martha and Ed Vincent, Ingrid Grosso, Audrey Cohen, Eddie DeAngelis, Vicki Lightnaker, Nettie Trommer, Mia Gannon, Jerry Prezioso, Jeff Abel, Patricia Christensen, Monica Bayer, Liz Yasuda, Mark and Paul Steiner, Mimi and Celia Karp, Marion Mandel, Anne-Marie Rogan, Sharon Zinn, Nicole Moskowitz, Patty and Erwin Cohen, Jonathan Dash, Carolyn Dash, Steve Abramowitz, Corey Gerard, Bernard Koenig, Donna Saltz, Michelle Feder, Eric Feder, Tamima Feder, Ellen Dufour, Joe DeVito, Todd Petrie, Rabbi Joel Safin, Arlene Scher, Diane Heinzerling, Henny Fisher, Larry Kinsberg, 16 Brown, Lori Silverman, Jody Siegelstein, Saul Siegel, Laurie Hope, Sal Camiso, Lauren and Ian Silverman, and Jerry Jaffe. And I want to just mention about Susan Sisler that her surgery was successful and she is recovering in the hospital and will be there for, it is projected a couple more days. We include also Jerry Jaffe, Marissa Schlesinger, Karen and Dennis Swass, Jerry Prezioso, Rabbi Dara Lerner and Kelly Quagliati, Meryl Kantrowitz, Steve Strauss, Lori Silverman, Susan Sisler, Stacy and David Mauser and Hannah Paines, Sandy Soffin, Jeff Horn, Helene Horn, Judith Kors, Harriet Holtzman, Rosalind Baum, Kendall Valentine, Noel Canfield, Jill Gluckson, and Dennis Cohen, Jesse Laban, Alid and Pat Colella, Paul Markowitz, Delphine Wolf, Jeannie Osiello, Dottie Tabachman, Fiona Callender, Joy Ojan, Mary Paisley, Ed Robinson, Joanna Marie, Teresa O'Sullivan, Jimmy Jenkins, Chanel Kamabach, Juliette Dale, Elena R.M., DeAndre Wynn, Sarah West, Silver Silva, Mary Lou McGivney, Elliot Woofsey, Nancy Kelly, Baby James Scarpulla, the people of Ukraine, and those suffering in other places, including the Caribbean islands, Israel, India, Afghanistan. Also, Linda Kushner Silverman.
Lee Wallach, Rose Posey, Terry Zucker.
Thank you. Here in the room, does anyone have names you would like to add? Oscar? Alan?
Bonnie Greenbaum, Karen Eichel, Howard Mishkin, Carol Wigger, Arnold Moss, the members of the NYPD.
Janice? Freema?
Stephen Schneier, Rochelle Ronick, Nathan Amrami, Reva and David Cohen, Lucy Palazzolo, Martin Bennett, Carol Beanstalk, Phyllis O'Neill, Kathy's brother Gabby, Elliot Drucker. Thank you.
Linda Kushner Silverman?
Lavana Tenon, Jackson and Tara Kushner, Shelley Jacobs. That's it. Thank you.
Does anyone else have names that they would like to add? Okay. We also include all of those who have been wounded in service to our country or Israel, those who have been hurt in recent disasters, whether natural or human created. We include those suffering from the heat waves in Pakistan and India, those who have been harmed in other recent natural disasters, as well as human created disasters, including the shooting, the massacre in the grocery store in Buffalo. Page 371.
Abraham, Yitzchak veYaakov. Mishaberach imotenu, Sarah Rivka
Shabbat Shalom. As I mentioned in the Misha Berach, Pakistan and India have been experiencing extreme heat in the past week, and the heat waves have come earlier than usual this year. Last weekend in Pakistan's city of Jacobabad, the temperature was 124 degrees Fahrenheit. In the city of Delhi in India, the temperature was 120 degrees Fahrenheit. And this is not a dry heat like Arizona or Nevada. It's humid, which makes it feel even hotter. And a lot of the people of those two countries being poor, they don't have air conditioning. The ones who do are using it, and the increased power use also leads then to blackouts, and it's not cooling off at night. Now, these are hot parts of the world. Jacobabad is one of the hottest cities in the world, but temperatures that high used to be very unusual. About once every 312 years, they would have a heat wave that bad. But scientists say that due to global climate change, the chance of a heat wave like this is 100 times greater. And so a heat wave like this is now likely every 3.12 years. The heat wave has also reduced the yield from crops, and that is, of course, at a time when the harvests in Ukraine are likely to be interrupted as well. This week's Torah portion, Bahar, gives instructions about the Shemitah year. Once every 7 years, we are commanded to let the land rest for a year. The commandment refers specifically to the land of Israel, and Jews are not allowed to plant, cultivate, or harvest. They may eat what grows by itself, but that belongs in the Shemitah year to everyone, even wild animals. Gates are to be left open. This is intended to remind us that the land ultimately belongs to God, not to human beings. Ecologically, land does need to lie fallow at times for the soil to remain healthy, and that is something that our ancestors probably knew. This year is a Shemitah year. The way Shemitah is observed in Israel is not exactly the way it is outlined in the Torah, but it is observed. For us, for whom the Shemitah rules do not exactly apply because we don't live in Israel, as we see the impact of global climate change in India and Pakistan and other places, and pretty much all scientists agree that human activity has been and is impacting the world's climate, it's hard for me to say that we've been doing a good job of taking care of God's land. And when I say God's land, I don't just mean Israel, but the whole world. And it's really scary to think of the predictions that are being made for coming years. However, just because we're heading in a particular direction does not mean that we will keep going in that direction. That's not how the world works. When my kids were little and I was potty training them, I expected that once they, started using the toilet the way they were supposed to, it would just keep going that way. But it turned out not to be so linear. They made steps forward and then regressed and then made steps forward again. And the whole world is like that. So just because you're going in a particular direction doesn't mean you're inevitably going to continue in that direction. And we have another powerful reminder through the COVID-19 pandemic that life can quickly change completely and unexpectedly. 2 years ago, when everything shut down, it actually had a positive effect on the environment, although it had a profoundly difficult effect on the economy. But there were so many fewer cars on the roads that air pollution was noticeably reduced. And here in Brooklyn, just anecdotally, I heard that fruit trees and vines were bearing fruit when they hadn't for years. we discovered grapes in our backyard. I mean, I thought they looked kind of like grapevines, but I didn't think there was ever grapes on them. We had never had that before, but there were grapes, lots of grapes. So, so that was really, that had a positive effect on the environment. And we learned that we can change when we have to. And we do have to. Individual change helps, but we really need systemic change. And so I encourage you, if you feel so moved, to undertake the actions that feel right to you, whether it's reaching out to members of Congress with phone calls or emails or letters to tell them that acting to combat or adapt to or mitigate the effects of global climate change is important. If you feel that way, you could write letters to the editor or an op-ed if you are so moved. And when the primaries and the election come, you might take candidates' positions on the environment into account when you make your choices. And there are other ways to act. Every year, every day, is a good time to consider how to take care of our environment. And a Shemitah year is a particularly appropriate time. Parshat Bahar comes in the spring. So as we read about the Shemitah year, we're surrounded by flowers, new leaves on trees, fresh grass. So let's take some time this Shabbat and in the coming week to really appreciate the natural world that surrounds us, even here in the city. Shemitah is a Shabbat, a time of rest for the earth. Let us rest with the earth and in appreciation of the earth. When we get up from our rest, let us work to make it possible for future generations to also experience the wonders of the natural world and the fruits of the earth. I'd like to conclude with a blessing written for the Shemitah year by Rabbi David Seidenberg. In this year of Shemitah, we acknowledge that everything the land brings forth as gift is provided for all creatures, free to all, and the land belongs to none but the Creator. Therefore, may we receive in gratitude what God creates and the earth ripens. May we lift our faces toward the land and turn in love toward her creatures. And may all our actions become ripe with justice and love. Amen and Shabbat Shalom. We continue with the Aleinu, the full one? Yeah, the full one.
Full, okay.
Beginning on page 586 at the bottom of the page. With Shehu Notation Mayim.
With Shehu Notation Mayim. Yeah. עלינו לשבח אדון הכל, עתיד גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המון. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגופי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות
בלבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים עמך, ועל הארץ, ועל הארץ, מתחת עינו. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו 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 אחד.
You may be seated. We turn our thoughts now to those who are no longer with us, our loved ones who have died in the past days or weeks or months, or in past years at this time of the year. I've put the yahrzeit list on the screen. Those of you who are here in person can have the list in your bulletin if you pick that up on the way in. If you're on Zoom and you have names you'd like to add for yahrzeit or for a recent death, please put those in the chat, and I'll also give everyone a chance to add names out loud. We remember those who have died in the past year. Maddie Rosenbaum, Myron Jacobson, Lester Schenker, John Belay, Yefim Polyak, the Reverend Eleanor Lee McGee Street, Arthur Goldstein, Lada Bloom, Irv Golden, Arthur Derry, Andrew Mazzella, Joyce Braziller, Linda Gilbert Schneider, Della Cohen, Fran Arnowitz, Selma Carl, Harold Carl, Emily Seff, Moshe Usher Reinitz, Huma Saber, Lila Bloomfield, John Carfizi, Andy Glantzman, Todd Zeitlin, John Previtt Jr., Augie Dorio, Janet Esposito, Kay Josephs, Arnold Block, Elizabeth Clark, Kyle McGee Sr., Ida Houston, Louisa Espute, Perry De La Touche, Ira Roth, Roberta Hayrath, George Liss, the Reverend Claude Park Street, Sylvia Tishkovich, Ellen Belofsky, Cindy Retagliata, Dolores Weinberger, Suzanne Leknos, Shirley Kafker, Lillian Frost Ridgely, Thomas Marinin, Meg Goldate, Marguerite Romeo, John Young, Isadora Frost, Fred Perlman. We include also those killed in Ukraine, Pat and David Nelson, Louise Stover, Grace Tracy, Karen Dolberg Rousseau, Faye Trulich, I think, was a past president of Ahavat Shalom, and she is on our yahrzeit list. Also on the yahrzeit list are Ray Bachner, Lisa Bachner's mother, William Lamp, Hazel Tishkoff's brother-in-law, Sylvia Levinson, Jeff Levinson's grandmother, and Moses Olasav, David Olasav's brother. Other names, Nathan. Indeed. Alan?
Carlton Tafuri, Moshe Aaron Miller, and Miriam Bastayan Miller.
As Nathan mentioned, also we include those who were killed in a grocery store in Buffalo. Freema?
Okay, I just want to say something about Faye Trulich. I remember Faye. She was such a a lovely, classy lady, and she always dressed to the nines. And I remember when she gave me a pin, which I still have, I think. But she was just such a classy lady. And I have Jack Mandel and Betty Rubel. Thank you.
Thank you, Prima. Diane Schenker? Diane, you're still muted.
Sorry. I see the name Robert L. Bloom. Bobby was Lotta's son, an only child. He was 22 years old when he OD'd, and they never got over it. And he was Mike's friend until he wasn't anymore. It was a very sad story.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you.
Linda Kushner Silverman?
My beloved son Seth and my cousin Stanley Tenen. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? We also include all of those who have died from COVID-19 and those who have died from other causes, whether in war or famine or terror or disaster, or alone and homeless on the streets of our cities. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 598, and I invite you to rise and join in or to participate according to your own custom. Page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'gala u'v'zman kariv v'yamru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei tekudesha b'richu. La'el amin kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, dam yaran b'alma v'yamru, Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael, v'yamru, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to the bereaved here with us and wherever they may be. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated.
Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
I'd like to invite our president, Adrian Knoll, to give us announcements.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Tomorrow, if anyone is planning on coming to Stella Kuberski's bat mitzvah in person, you might want to leave now because the 5-borough marathon is going on and it's going to be a bit of a mess, or take the subway. Tomorrow's the last day of religious school, and one of the classes is having a bake sale at 9:30 in front of the building. B'yachad is in person and on Zoom at 10, and Stella's bat mitzvah and Shabbat services begin at 11. Monday, if you're on the charity committee, there is a charity committee meeting at 7 o'clock on Zoom. There's no Torah study or gentle chair yoga this week. But Wednesday, if you're on the ritual committee, there is a ritual committee meeting at 7:30. Thursday, there is a Jewish educator search committee meeting. And I think that's it. And then Friday, we're back here. Well, I'm not back here. I'm going to my college reunion, but everyone else will be back here. Have a lovely week, everyone, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, and thank you. And I will just add that for anyone who is here in person, the Kuberski family is sponsoring this evening's oneg. And we're going to close with Zeh Bazeh. If you're able, please rise.
May good fortune and blessing be found here. May the music of memory resound here. May the works of our hands and the works of our souls make us stronger, make us whole. Zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, b'yachad. Oh, zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, b'yachad. May we seek peace and understanding. May we cherish every companion. May the work we put in and the joy we express make us stronger, make us blessed. May the builders that lay the foundation, may they rise up in each generation. May the ones who invest never tire nor rest. They make us stronger, make us blessed. Zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, b'yachad. Oh, zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, b'yachad. Kol Yisrael Arevim ze laze. Kol Yisrael, Yisrael Arevim ze laze. May good fortune and blessing be found here. May the music of memory resound here. May the work of our hands and the work of our souls make us stronger, make us whole. Zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, b'yachad. Oh, zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, b'yachad. Oh, zeba, Yisrael, zeba, 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 b'yachad. Oh, zeba, 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 b'yachad. Zeba, 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 b'yachad. Zeba, 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 b'yachad. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha
Shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine on you and be gracious to you. May God lift God's face towards you and give you peace. Amen.
Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Have a lovely evening.